Good afternoon. My name is Barry Lipsky. I'm the president of the Long Island Divers Association. We've had a mission for the past 30 plus years of doing a lot for divers, protecting divers' rights, gaining dive sites all around Long Island, and working with the diving environment. So today we're working with Rob, and we're doing something for the environment, and we're titling today as Diving with a Purpose. The purpose being trying to do something with eelgrass that was very, very obvious all over Long Island for many, many decades. And then now it's almost gone because of many conditions like pollution and other things that have eradicated the eelgrass. But what's so important about eelgrass is that everything starts off living in the eelgrass. All the tiny specimens of fish, marine life, crabs, flatfish, all those different species are all living in each of these little villages, I call them, inside the eelgrass. As scuba divers, we're down underwater using underwater breathing apparatus type of equipment, and we're down there looking, parting the eelgrass away so we can see what's down there and look for the eggs, the seeds that Rob needs in order to reproduce the eelgrass. So as a diver, not only am I working for him, but also what I'm doing is I'm kind of observing what's going on. And when I look down inside there, I get to see all these tiny little marine life creatures all over the place at various different sizes, whether they're shellfish, flatfish, other types of fish. And they're hiding there because this way they're protected from other fish eating them. Eventually they get a little bit bigger and they'll move on. And if the eelgrass is all over the bay, like the Great South Bay of Long Island, then that will promote the larger fish, which everybody likes to fish for. Weakfish, bluefish, striped bass, fluke, flounders as examples. So without the eelgrass, without the protection for the smaller marine life, then there's no marine life for the larger fish to eat, and then it becomes a desert. And a lot of the Great South Bay has turned into that desert as a result of the eelgrass being gone. So what Rob has done is he's developed a system using the seeds from the eelgrass, and he connects those to shellfish, clams, oysters, puts them back in the water. The shellfish will burrow themselves in the sand. The eelgrass will start to grow from the seeds that he glued to the shellfish, and then as the eelgrass grows, it stays put. A lot of times what happens is the seeds grow and then they get washed away with the waves and the currents and everything else that are underwater. But by the fact that they're glued to the shells of the sea, at the bottom of the sea, the eelgrass now stays there. And Rob has proven that this works. It's worked in places right in the Great South Bay on the South Shore, like Cherry Grove and Barrett Beach, where eelgrass is reproduced in the tens of thousands because of the system he developed. And by putting the shells in the water, eelgrass grows. It doesn't get washed away. When the eelgrass grows, now the little critters come around, they get bigger. Now the larger fish are attracted to those smaller fish, and now we have a whole big ecosystem underwater that works for fishermen, divers, and the healthy environment of the Great South Bay. So we applaud Rob for what he's not only invented, but also he is so focused and so dedicated to this. He's out here almost every day of the week collecting tens of thousands of seeds so he can bring them to his little factory, glue them to the shells, and then drop them back in the water later this year. So all of these things fall within the mission of the Long Island Divers Association and our mission right now of actually diving with a purpose.
Divers are very important to this work. So do you have enough divers, or is there more needed?
Well, the good thing about this type of mission is it's a very, very easy, simple dive. Today we're diving off Orient Point where there's a lot of eelgrass. I don't think I went any deeper than 5 feet of water. So any beginner diver can take on this task. Once they learn what to look for, they can grab a hold of the actual seeds that they would pick out, put them in a bag, and just bring them back to shore. We're only about 50 feet, not even 50 yards off the shore. And again, it's very shallow. It's a very simple dive. Anybody could do it. Anybody that wants to volunteer, we could spend 10 minutes with them showing them what to do. And they can actually accomplish something and go along with the mission that we have of actually diving for a purpose.
And if somebody wanted to get started diving or just have questions, would they speak with you?
They can contact the Long Island Divers Association off our website. It's LIDA, which stands for Long Island Divers Association. So it's lidaonline.com, or just type in Long Island Divers Association. Look for my name, Barry Lipsky. My phone number is there, or you can email me. And what we'll do is we'll set you up with one of the local dive shops, depending upon where you live. There are several on Long Island, and it's probably better the closer you live to any one of those dive shops is where we will set you up so that you can take dive lessons when you're there.
And how long would it take for someone that's really interested to get their diver's training?
The full divers training will take a couple of months. It depends on how dedicated they are to taking the classes often. There are different agencies that they'll follow in order to get certified. And then you can go diving. It's the coolest thing in the world. So.
And what is the youngest age you may recommend maybe snorkeling or diving, someone get interested started in?
Well, scuba diving, you can go as early as 10 years old, but my suggestion would be starting at 12 years old and learning how to dive. You could dive through the Boy Scouts, boys and girls is one way of doing it as well. But your local dive shops are your best avenue on Long Island to go diving.
Thank you so much, Barry. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah.